So in this video, I'll be talking about life insurance and what type of life insurance you should be looking at getting, how much you need in life insurance coverage, and also I'll be giving you guys some places where you can go right now and compare the different life insurance offers so you can get a really good deal. Now, this is actually a very important topic because most people know nothing about life insurance. If they do know, it's very little and not really their fault because this stuff isn't taught in schools. Instead, they teach you about calculus and a bunch of other things that you really never use. And so if you ask the average working person right now what type of life insurance policy they have, they'll probably be able to vaguely describe the benefits that they have, but they probably don't know what type of life insurance they have. And they may not even know the different types of life insurance. And they may also not know that they can get a better deal or a better solution somewhere else. Also, before we get into all the details here, I want to remind you guys that this video is not sponsored, so none of the life insurance policies or things that I mentioned in this video, I am not paid, so there is no incentive for me to tell you to try these options or to use these services. This is just based on research that I've done, and you guys can go ahead and do your own research as well. Now, with that said, if you are new to the channel, my name is Ian, and on this channel, I talk about ways to make money, ways to save money, ways to invest your money. I talk about bank accounts, credit cards, financial products, and everything to do with personal finance. So if you like these topics and you like these types of videos, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a ton. And also subscribe with all notifications on, and that way you'll never miss the updates of when I post new videos, which is every other day on this channel. So let's get back to life insurance, and there are two main types of life insurance, and these are term life insurance and also whole life insurance. Now, there are really only three types of people when it comes on to life insurance, and the first category of people are going to be those people that see life insurance as an investment or a huge settlement that will make their family very wealthy if they're to pass away, and that's why they go with whole life insurance. And this could cost them very high premiums, sometimes going close to $1,000 per month. Now, the second category of people would be those that see life insurance as income that will be available to their family if they were to pass away or if they weren't able to provide for their family anymore. These people usually get term life insurance, and this would cost a fraction of the price of whole life insurance. Now, the final category of people are those that don't get any life insurance. If anything ever happens to them, their family will suffer financially. Now, let's talk about these two types of life insurance, right? So let's say you go for whole life and we want to now compare whole life with term life insurance. So for whole life insurance, you're going to have to pay a higher premium than with term life insurance. So let's say, for example, you put all your information in, your age, your health status, where you live, the type of recreational activities that you do, if they're risky or not risky, what you do for work, and let's say you want a whole life insurance policy of $1 million and you have to pay $600 per month for this policy. Now, this is good because now you have some coverage. However, if you go with term life insurance and you select, let's say, a 15-year term, you're more than likely going to pay a lot less for the same coverage amount than for the whole life insurance coverage. So if you wanted $1 million in term life insurance, you may end up paying maybe $75 a month. And of course, this depends on where you get this life insurance policy. I'm going to leave a link down below where you guys can go and compare rates and policies and also the prices or get some quotes. But the point here is that if you go with term life insurance, generally speaking, you're going to pay a lot less than whole life insurance. Now, for me, the entire purpose of life insurance is not to use it as an investment. It's just insurance, as the name suggests, in the event that I pass away or I'm unable to work, my family doesn't suffer, and they are taken care of financially. Now, we're looking at whole life versus term life insurance, and I realized that if I got a term life insurance policy for around 15 years, the difference between the term life insurance policy and the whole life insurance policy in terms of the amount of money I would spend per month, if I were to use that difference or the difference of that premium and just invested that in a brokerage account or put it into maxing out my 401k or possibly my Roth IRA, I would be better off in the long run because I actually have some of that money. So let's do some simple math here just to show you guys what I'm saying. And let's say you have a whole life insurance policy, or you get a quote for a whole life insurance policy for $1 million in coverage, and the premium is $600 per month. Let's also say that you only need this policy for the next 30 years. just to make this simple. And so this means that you'll be paying $600 per month for the next 30 years. Also, this is very generous because those whole life insurance policies can cost a lot more, but we're just using these figures as an example to get the point across here. So 600 times 12 is 7,200. So you'll be spending that per year on the whole life insurance policy. And if you multiply that by 30, you'll get 216,000, which means that at the end of 30 years or over that 30-year period, you would have spent $200,000 on this whole life insurance policy. Now, this sounds good because you're saying, well, okay, I'm going to spend $200,000, and in the event anything happens to me where I can't work anymore or I pass away, my family is going to get $1 million. So it sounds really good. However, let's say you get a term life insurance policy for 15 years, and the term life insurance policy only requires you to pay a premium of around $75 per month. This means that you'll be spending $900 per year for this term life insurance policy, and over 15 years, you'll be spending $13,500 on this term life insurance policy. So the difference here is $202,000. So the difference every single month is around $525. And so you could choose the term life insurance policy and pay $75 per month, and then have that for the next 15 years and be covered for up to $1 million for the next 15 years. And then the difference, which is $525, you go ahead and invest that in a regular brokerage account or probably in your IRA or some other investment account. And that way, if you get an annual return of 10% by year 15 or after year 15, you'll have enough money in the investment account to take care of your family if anything were to happen to you. And this way, you're not just spending money on insurance, because at the end of the term, if nothing happens to you, then you really don't get any value from all the money you spent. But in the case of the investment account, you'll have that money to use. So if you put this into the investment calculator, it tells us that $525 per month for 15 years. At the end of year 15, we have over $219,000. And by the end of year 20, we have over $400,000. And by the end of year 30, we would have $1.1 million. And so the point is, if we didn't need this insurance, we would still have that amount of money to use for any purpose, really. So I think instead of getting whole life insurance, it's probably better to select term life insurance for a specific term just to get the coverage now. And then the difference between the term life insurance premium and the whole life insurance premium is what you should use to invest. And that way you can eventually end the term life insurance policy and continue building on your investments. And that way, if anything happens to you, your investments will take care of your family, and hopefully nothing happens to you. And at the end of these years, you'll have that much amount of money to be able to spend on anything you want, whether it's for your family or for yourself. So the main point here is to not just give your money to the insurance companies, but to retain as much of your hard-earned money as you possibly can. Now, a very popular question that people have is how to determine how much life insurance they should have. And the rule of thumb here is that you should get life insurance that is equal to 10 times your annual salary. So if you're making $45,000 per year, which I think is the average right now, that means that you need a life insurance policy of at least $450,000, which means that this will be able to take care of your family for at least 10 years if something were to happen to you. And then some may recommend more if you have kids, for example. Then depending on the age of your kids, you may want to have a life insurance policy that covers them until they become adults. So for example, if you have a 5-year-old, then you definitely want probably a 13 to 15 years worth of your income in a life insurance policy. Now, there are some additional things that you need to consider as well when selecting a life insurance policy, especially when you're thinking about how much life insurance you should get. And some other things that you really need to consider is if you have a mortgage, or if you have a mortgage, if something were to happen to you, you definitely don't want to leave the burden of paying that mortgage on your family. So in addition to the years of income that you want to provide them with, you also want to have a life insurance policy that will be able to give them additional cash to be able to pay off that mortgage, so they don't have to worry about struggling to pay the mortgage and living at the same time. Also, if you have kids, you definitely want to think about their college tuition. So again, rule of thumb here is if they go to community college, which is cheap, it may cost them probably $35,000 to $50,000. So if you want to add that amount to a life insurance policy, you can. And then of course, in the event that the worst happens and you actually pass away, you want to also have money in there to take care off your funeral expenses. So definitely think about these 3 different things. Think about your kids, if you have any, their college education, or even just schooling until they become adults, and also a mortgage on a home if you have a mortgage on a home. And that way your family doesn't suffer financially because you're not there to pay the mortgage anymore. And then also think about the years that you would be comfortable with them having that same income for, so that they don't have to struggle financially. Now, if you guys are looking at getting life insurance, whether it's whole life insurance or term life insurance, and you want to compare the rates, I'll leave a link down below. And I'm not affiliated in any way. I'm not getting a commission here. It's just a useful tool that I found where you can put your information in, and they'll send you quotes from the different insurance companies for both term life and also whole life insurance, so you can see what your premiums would be, or an estimate. And then you can also see the different levels of coverage. You can figure out how much you'd like to get in life insurance coverage if you don't have any right now, and that way you don't waste any money or any time here. So I want you guys to comment below, and of course let me know your thoughts on life insurance policies. Do you actually think that whole life insurance is better than term life insurance? Or do you think that the life insurance, or that life insurance in general, isn't really needed and it's just a waste of money and you're just better off investing in yourself? Comment below and let me know your thoughts. Also, be sure to check all the links down below in the description, as I have links to free and helpful stuff, which includes free cash, free stocks, and free crypto. And if you guys haven't already done so, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a ton. Also, subscribe with all notifications on so you never miss the updates for when I post new videos, which is every other day. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in the next one.